here's what's most important. It's about being there for other people. And if you keep them in mind and you breathe and you keep that in mind and you breathe and you keep that in mind, then that should keep the doomsday scenarios at bay. Oh, Nuno Miguel is asking about an approach to anxiety on stage or at home. Playing difficult men. This is great. Anxiety is killing my airflow. This is a really good observation. I'm glad that you see it as a as an emotional cause to a physical problem, right? Because airflow, that's a physical situation that has a mental or emotional origin. And as far as anxiety goes, I mean, there are different ways that we can approach this. We can take a purely physical approach, which is control your breathing. Control your breathing. Breathing is here's another great book, The Science of Breath. It's a tiny little book. It's like 120 pages, written by a couple of doctors and a yogi. And one of the things that I took away from that was just the simple, beautiful, elegant observation that breathing can be both active or passive. And it's a revolving door, the link between breathing and our emotional state. And you can either use your breathing to affect your emotional state, or you can also see a situation where your emotional state affects your breathing. I'll give a couple of examples. One, you've just finished hiking up to the top of a mountain and you're looking out over all of creation, it feels, and you just and it brings that emotional release is something that inspires a change in your breathing pattern, very much for the better. Also, if somebody sneaks up behind you and goes boo and scares the hell out of you, then that emotional situation changed your breathing. And then you have to now here's where we come to the other side, the flip side of the coin, which is where you have to actively sometimes use breathing to calm yourself down. Use the breathing to change your emotional state. And that's really an important skill, not just for playing and not just for making sure that your airflow is unimpeded. It's just for life, man, to make sure that you have the self-control, the emotional self-control to roll with the punches as they come at you, and to stay in a healthy enough frame of mind to still respond positively or productively to whatever life throws at you, whether it's a bout of anxiety or stage fright, or it's a friend betraying you and stealing all your shit. Whatever it is, a breathing practice that is finely tuned and seriously a major point of devotion on your part every day will pay dividends. Will get you through any number of challenges. So as far as my approach to eliminating or trying to at least let my anxiety level come down, breathing. Just one good breath after another. In Blast, we had really our spiritual advisor as much as anything else, our acting coach in job description, but really our guru in Blast, George Pinney, a great man, a brilliant man, did wonderful exercises with us where every day we were doing a little bit of Tai Chi. We were doing just some mindful breathing to start our classes, and we were told on a daily basis by George Pinney that you can be anything you want to be, anyone you want to be, but just put it on a breath, in one breath, and maybe it takes more than one breath, but at least it's a mission statement, a very good one, that you become better and better over time at just getting that one breath to envision how you want to be, who you want to be, exhale with that same intention, breathe in again, and that is who you are, and that is how you feel. It's not always that easy, but that has got to be the goal, and that had a huge impact on me. And so basically, I'll summarize something that I put out there in every masterclass I teach, which is a 2-word philosophy, not really PG, not really meant for kids' ears, but it's there are no 2 better words to sum it up. But my 2-word philosophy for how to approach stage fright and anxiety is fuck it. Here comes. I'm not sure I'm fully prepared for this. I got a lot riding on this performance. I see there's a lot of people with their cameras set up, and whether this turns out to be my greatest achievement or a really bad blackmail footage, fuck it. Here goes. And the ability to do that is something I really think you got to hone. You've got to develop that. You have to be able to just let it go and say, well, this is a thing I cannot change. All of the entire situation right now, I can't change it. The cards that are stacked against me are stacked against me. The things I've got going for me are going for me. And it's a mixed bag of positives and negatives, but it is what it is. All I can do right now is try my best. So I'm going to make sure that my emotional state doesn't hijack and sabotage my physical actions. And I got to make sure that my physical state doesn't negatively affect my emotional state, by playing with tension. So it's always that revolving door between the physical and the emotional or the mental, and just having control over both, and having control over the over the way that they affect one another through any kind of process you like. When I was 7, I started training in Tang Sudo, a martial art. It's like when I was right at the right age, Karate Kid came out and signed me up. So I was in there, and that's basically when I was 7. It was when someone first started explaining to me that there is no spoon. And then later on it came with a yoga practice, and then after that it came with a Reiki practice, and an ever evolving meditation practice involving chanting and overtone singing and all that, and all these things have developed over time into a pretty solid base of tools that I can rely on to help me fix the physical tension and fix the mental or emotional tension that would mess the other one up as well. And that's it. It's breathing. It's keeping in mind also it's keeping in mind what is the thought that's bringing the anxiety in the first place. And it's always it's a survival thing. It's fight or flight instinct that's triggered by a fear of what will happen if you screw up, right? And what happens if I completely mess up this audition? I'm never going to win another gig. What happens if I mess up this performance? Nobody's ever going to hire me again. The ego can come up with all sorts of ways to rationalize this being the most important moment of your life, and if you don't succeed with flying colors right now, it's gonna be the end of your life as you know it. Obviously that's bullshit, and you got to let it go, and that comes with realizing that you'll always get to play another day, and you'll always have another chance to. Here's the kicker. Here's what's most important. It's about being there for other people. Why are you playing? Are you playing to get rich? Are you playing to earn yourself credit as being a great trumpet player, a great musician? Are you playing for you, or are you playing for other people? Are you playing to make people happy? And I had a lot more, not really stage fright, but nervousness. I had a lot more anxiety, a lot more situations that brought cortisol, or that brought just that brought the stress on a lot more back when it was about me, when it was about how good I sound, and or at least how, or about the music too, how much I want the music to be great. That was always a focus. It wasn't always entirely egocentric. I've always been devoted to the music, but it took longer for me to hop on board and let it be about people that are there to hear you, people that are there that want you to make their day a little bit less shit, people that are there because they want to be more inspired, people that are there because they need you, they need what you're doing. And if you keep them in mind and you breathe and you keep that in mind and you breathe and you keep that in mind, then that should keep the doomsday scenarios at bay. That should keep your mind chatter down to a minimum and allow you to stay in the moment, focused on mission number one, which is being there for the people who are there to hear you.